to the last two programs of our Wind Party Extravaganza. Program 4, oh no, we're on program 5. Right. My apologies. Program 5 begins, with something a lot of people may not have heard of, Zelenka, the great Czech Baroque composer. And he was really kooky in all the best possible senses of the word. He was inspired and inventive and surprising, but he was also really gifted. For instance, Johann Sebastian Bach, there are a lot of hand-copied Zelenka works that Bach went through to learn and be inspired by. So he's sort of, for some reason, fallen off the planet in terms of being well known, but he wrote really great music. And the scoring is very interesting. In this case, it's for oboe, violin, bass, bassoon, and harpsichord. And so it's...
And that's the original.
This is the original scoring, yeah. And it has a bassoon part. It is crazy. Peter Kolke, I call it, he loves it. He said, oh man, I gotta practice this really hard. So you're gonna hear some crazy bassoon playing, as well as some really amazingly inventive Baroque music. And then we'll move on to last year's composer in residence, Oswaldo Golohoff, who during the year finished his new quartet for the St. Lawrence Quartet, Kohelet, which we will give the South Carolina premiere of. It's a beautiful, evocative, not very long, but really beautiful music. It's, I don't know how to describe it. You have to come and hear it. It's remarkably sweet and beautiful for the most part. And speaking of sweet and beautiful, we have Todd Palmer and Elisa and Enon playing the late Brahms clarinet trio to end that program. Really, Brahms at the end of his life, like Mozart, turning to the clarinet to express some of his deepest thoughts. And then program 6 will end our Wind Party with this incredible piece. We have 2 pieces of Ludwig Thuil on the festival this year. I know. I think you'd be hard-pressed to find any festival in the history of festivals to have 2 pieces of Ludwig Thuil on the same season. But trust me, they're both great. We're going to end the festival with the Ludwig Thuil Piano Quintet, and perhaps his best-known work, the Sextet for Piano and Winds, will open Concert 6. And he was a great friend of Strauss, Richard Strauss, and it was inspired by many of the same things. So you have this brilliant, virtuosic, lush, romantic music. Cool. Really inspired. I don't quite understand what happened. Why he wrote a really famous harmony book. A lot of people know him simply based on this book that he wrote about harmony, but his pieces are pretty much unknown. So we discovered the piano quintet many years ago. It was out of print. It's now back in print, and hopefully will get picked up and played more often. For this sextet, I think
it was the Walter Piston harmony book that I knew.
Oh yeah, that's a more American one. But at the turn of the century, people growing up in Europe they'd use the Thuil harmony book, which I learned myself. And then the second piece on program 6 is his. Actually, I think it's going to be really fun. It's a duet for 2 violins by Wieniawski, the great Polish violin virtuoso. If you know Wieniawski, you probably know his second violin concerto. A lot of great violinists and gifted students play that, so you may be able to sing along to that. But this was written almost the same year. And what he did, he wrote these duets for 2 violins. One part is super easy, like sight-readable, and the other part is viciously difficult. So we're going to have a family affair, basically. Which violinist in the Nuttall Sohn family is more physically gifted? You'll see.
You're not going to trade parts.
It's my wife, Livia. No,
you get the easy part.
I get the easy part, and she is this crazy, over-the-top, virtuoso violin stuff. It's really super fun, but it's really quite funny. And then we'll end, that's sort of like the sorbet in between these 2 big pieces. We'll end with the Ravel piano trio, which needs very little introduction, with Elisa and Jennifer Frauci and Enon Barnaton. So that'll be... Most of you probably know.
A showstopper.
It will be a showstopper, and it's a great piece. So that ends program 6.